Okay, guys, we are live. First time doing a live back in the office and off the phone in a while, so hopefully everything goes well and we don't have any technical difficulties. All that being said, the purpose of this live is going to be to introduce my new prospect puppy, or puppies. Let's see how things turn out. But people have been asking me a lot about Hammer and his sister. So I said, you know what, let me educate you guys on where these puppies came from and why I decided to keep puppies back specifically from this litter for myself. And yeah, you know, as usual, we'll kind of open up things to, you know, anybody who wants to talk about the various different things that they want to talk about. We'll open that. We'll open the floodgates up for that as well. Let me pop the chat out. You guys let me know if you can see here, or just put in the chat if you guys can see everything and you guys are receiving this. It says we got 23 viewers here. So, all right, good, excellent. You guys are seeing me. Good. So let me pop the chat out. I'll put it up so you guys can all see it, and then we'll get after this. Slow internet, country internet. What are you gonna do? It's always the same story. So, boom, there's the chat. And I'll let people jump on here. And we will get started with the discussion. And the purpose of this, obviously I want you guys to know about, you know, where my new puppy comes from, so on and so forth. But I also want you guys to kind of understand the thought process that should go behind you maybe making a selection when it comes to picking your next puppy. So give me a second here. Let me light this baby up. Okay. All right, guys. So let's talk about where my puppy comes from. You guys have been seeing my new puppy a little bit as of late. If you haven't seen him, feel free to check out some of my most recent uploads on YouTube and you will see him. If you're on my Patreon or my Instagram, you've seen a little bit of me posting him. His name is Hammer. He is a bicolor male German Shepherd. And he's approximately 5 months old right now. So let's talk a little bit about where he came from. So number one, Hammer is from my breeding program. I'm no longer interested in taking puppies from other people's breeding programs and competing with them. I'm only interested in using my own kennel name, or the joint kennel name that I share with Ann Lee, my friend. I am not interested in taking somebody else's dogs. And that's the long and the short of it. I don't find any joy in showing, let's say, somebody else's puppy. Like, there's just something, when it comes from you, when you knew the parents, the grandparents, so on and so forth, when it's your breeding, there's just more of a personal aspect to it, and I really enjoy doing what I did with Gage. I want to now do it with another dog, and hopefully even better than what I did with Gage. And when I think about all the success I've had with Gage, in spite of, you know, maybe the various challenges that he's had, it's fantastic, especially to do it with a dog of my breeding. So I would like to repeat that success, but magnify it. And so we come to the litter that we are going to talk about. So Hammer comes from a female that I purchased along with Chico. And this is her pedigree. This female, her pedigree name is Kamikaze von Marchberger. Now you'll see her daddy here, Chaos von Marchberger. Who's Chaos? Chaos is Chico's full brother. And the reason why I bought her was because she was available at the same time as Chico was, and she looked very promising at a year of age. So I purchased her when I purchased Chico. Top female. Probably the best quality working female I've had. And when I say that, I mean in terms of the combination of traits she brings. Her looks, her hardness, her drive, her speed, her grips. All the things that I look for in a dog. Needless to say, once she passed a year, I got her SV X-ray. So she SV X-rayed all clear. And she also happens to be DM free like Chaos. Now, those of you who study pedigrees may know that Chico actually is a DM carrier, which means I cannot breed him to another carrier. I could only breed him to a free dog. Chaos is free. And what's her name? Taz. I call her Taz. Her name's Kamikaze. She's free as well of DM. So that means I can breed her to any dog, whether it's a carrier or not. Again, that's some inside baseball for those of you that, you know, I know a lot of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, just to kind of give you guys some idea of what the reasons why I would take a puppy from Chaos. Also, I've seen Chaos in person multiple times, and I really like him. He has a lot of the same qualities Chico seems to have. Obviously, he doesn't have my training on him, the training on him that Chico has, so he won't show as well in a competition. But that being said, fantastic quality male. So this is a little video I made of Taz, I think a year ago, so you guys can kind of get an idea. And you guys can see how she looks.
Right, guys, this is Taz. But look at the pedigree.
Oh.
Is pregnant just because her belly hasn't fully dropped yet?
At this time, no. Yeah, at this time I thought she might have been pregnant. I want to see if I can skip past.
This is her first breed.
There you go. You can see the grip quality in her. You can see the look. She has a very similar look to that bloodline. A lot of intensity.
Now, you guys might be wondering why, you know, I'm showing bite work with all these females instead of the obedience. Because for me, bite work shows the most quality. And we're talking about breeding working dogs.
I love her structure. She's not a big dog, but she's very well built. You can see she has so much substance. Very nice pigmentation, beautiful eyes.
Dogs for protection, dogs for police.
And I'm not BSing when I say that this is the hardest female. Just like Chico's a super hard dog, she's a hard dog. And I love that because that shows continuity within the line of traits, right? It shows consistency. Her drive, her grip, it's the same like Chico. Of course, she's a female, so she will not show it to the same level, but it's that same level. Like just a fantastic female. And the grip quality is the same.
German Shepherds, and you will see the most in terms of the quality of the dog in protection work. You will see the intensity, the resilience, the grip behavior, the drive behavior, and you know all our females are social outside of the work. Like all our kennel techs handle the females, all our trainers handle the females, the work, and show.
So she's a fantastic female.
Now as you can see, Taz is a hitter. She is probably my most extreme female in terms of drive and heart.
So you guys get a little view into Taz, okay? You see what she's like. So this is the female end of the pedigree. This is a dog that I own. Best female, like I said, that I own currently in terms of like just the quality of her working traits. I really, really like her. She is a female. She's one of the only females I've ever considered actually showing. And that means competing with. And really what stopped me was, again, she just didn't carry my kennel name. So I was like, you know, why am I going to take a female and a female that doesn't carry my kennel name and show that dog? Now, let's talk about her daddy. Let's talk about Hammer's. So that's Hammer's mom. Let's talk about Hammer's dad. Hammer's dad is none other than my friend Jack's dog, Ike DeLupus Save Savis. And this is the pedigree, okay? This is the pedigree. This is a fire pedigree, all right? Ike, his father, Draco Blendy, very well known. Grandfather, Denoso, right? And you can look at the mother line. Rose comes from Harold von der Staatsmacht. That's an older dog from Stefan, going right back to Orla von der Schiffslauf. And then you just see like there's a lot of really strong dogs, especially some older dogs in this pedigree. that bring forward a lot of firepower. And that explains Ike. That explains Ike. So Ike, the reason why do I breed to Ike? Ike is my friend Jack's dog. Now, those of you that have seen Jack on my channel, he's the big burly helper with the big beard. This is Ike at Nationals at the championship. Similar look to his dad, eh? Now I want you to listen to the barking. He has a little bit of a high pitch there. And it costs some points, but if you know what you're looking at and you know what you're listening to, there is a ton of intent in the dog. And if anything, in our training, we've really done a lot to try and reduce how aggressive he is, because it actually gets in the way of him being able to be correct in the performance. But he has a ton of intent. Like this dog, he'll bite you. He'll bite you for real. But that's not the only reason I bred to him. That's not a particularly special trait in and of itself. I'm going to show you some of the other qualities the dog brings forward. We're just going to fast forward through this. So I want you to watch the escape. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the grip and the entry into the grip. This is vintage Ike. Like, this is what he does. He is a hitter. He always takes a full grip, and he strikes with a lot of speed and commitment. A little bit of a transition issue there. Again, you can hear the intent. If you know what you're listening to, you can hear it. Again, nice grip. Let's show you the back transport. His strike on the back transport was fantastic. I want you guys to watch when he hits here. Oh no. Okay, good. Oof, you saw it there, right? And you could hear it. The camera angle was far, like the camera was far, and you heard the tuck, right? This is how he hits. Now I see the dog all the time in training, and in training you know the real dog. The one thing that impresses me about Ike, the striking, all of the grip quality, the drive, the aggression. The biggest thing that I like about Ike is the hardness, right? Jack is not an easy handler. Jack is a lot. How Jack looks is what Jack is like. And I've told Jack this 1,000 times, so I'm not releasing anything secret right now. For the dog to come out time and time again and show the power he does with Jack and still want to fight with Jack from time to time and do all the things that you would expect from a lot of dog, but not a lot of dog with a lot of handler. They're both a lot. Ike's a lot and Jack's a lot. And yet this dog comes out. I've seen him year after year. He just comes out and goes 110 miles per hour every single time. It doesn't matter what pressure externally you put on him, what pressure the handler puts on him. He's a worker. And he's got a lot of motor and a lot of heart. It's a special dog. And I always knew I would breed to him after I'd seen him work for a few months. So, now you look at the pedigree. You see a lot of the qualities in that pedigree being expressed in Ike. Now you look at the pedigree of the female. I already have a full brother to her father, Chico, which I know the dog very well, and I like a lot of things about him, obviously. So, this is why I kept puppies from this breeding. I knew there was going to be fire on both sides of the pedigree, and that they were going to be a lot. There was going to be a lot of intensity, a lot of, let's say, power and commitment in this pedigree. And so that is why I kept 2 of these for myself. Now, how did I pick them? Well, fundamentally, I like bicolor, and so I just picked the 2 that were bicolor. I picked a male that was bicolor and a female that was bicolor. And those are the two prospects that I kept back from this litter. Now, I have a problem. We'll talk about it in a quick second here. Let's see here. So, guys, you're asking me questions unrelated to the topic. As you can see, I'm focusing in on this topic. So I am not going to leave what we're saying right now. Like, I'm not going to leave this topic right now to answer other topics. That being said, so somebody said, do you check for LTV in your decision making? No, I just do SV X-rays. The SV X-rays of the hips, the elbows, and of the spine. Okay, I guess that would be LTV. Well, we call it, what is it? Spondylosis, I believe is what they call it, right? And they check like the vertebrae that come right before the tail. So I check those. For DM, we do a DNA test, and we determine if the dogs are carriers or if they're clear. The Germans don't really believe in the DM test. We just do it here in North America because it has been popular, and I've just decided to do it. And I don't breed carrier to carrier. I'll breed carrier to clear, or clear to clear. I will not breed carrier to carrier. So that's fundamentally it. Now, I picked the two puppies that I really liked in that litter. And again, the color was part of it. And then, of course, they both showed some qualities that I really liked. To be honest, the pick of the litter from day one has been the bicolor female, Hammer's crazy sister. But all that being said, you know, I just didn't want a female. I didn't want another female. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep this male. He's showing me a lot of the things I like. He's big, he's bicolor, he's got drive, so on and so forth. I've been training them both. Not really the female as much, but I've been training Hammer a lot. And there are things I like about him, like he has a lot of drive, but he also can be sometimes a little bit lazy. Whereas I take the female out, and she is a firecracker, live wire from beginning to end. Like, she's too much. Like, she's just a maniac. And, yeah, I'm kind of almost at the point now where I'm going to switch. And it's kind of a little bit too, like, I'm still kind of on the fence because I really don't want to show a female. But I guess the exception to that rule would be a female from my lines that I really, really like. But I just had my heart set on a big, strong male. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I have Hammer and I have his crazy sister, Wasabi is her name. And these are dogs that carry my kennel name. And this is their pedigree. So I hope you guys now, when you ask, what is that puppy? Where did that puppy come from? You now know where that puppy came from. Personally, for me, I will not be competing with any dogs, really. I mean, I don't have any plans to. I mean, all the best laid plans sometimes get changed. But I don't have any plans to compete with any dog that does not come from my breeding. Just because, like I said, I find it most rewarding. And I get to pick from the litter. And I get to pick from the breeding, so on and so forth. Now, that being said, there is another breeding that I'm keeping puppies from. And that is this breeding. Oh, one thing before I leave here. I want you guys to look. So, I want you to look at the mother's pedigree. She's at the top here. So, we got Dinoso. Okay? Right there. We have Dinoso. He is 4 generations back. Right? He's 4 generations back in the mother's pedigree. And then we have Dexter, that's Dinoso's full brother, and he's also 4 generations back. So she is 4-4 on the D litter. Taz is 4-4 on the D litter, okay? So the D litter, Dinoso vom Eisenkreuz and Dexter vom Eisenkreuz appear 2 times in the 4th generation. So that is not a small thing. Now I want you to look at the father's pedigree, Dinoso, right there. You see Dinoso right there. So Dinoso is actually the grandfather of Ike. So now he is he's in the 3rd generation. So these puppies are going to be 3 5. No, there'll be 4 or 5 on the D litter. And the D litter will appear 3 times in the pedigree. Right? So that is no small thing. And we can expect to see some of those traits coming forward. When you see those same dogs in the back coming forward multiple times on both sides of the pedigree, you can see the Schiffslash, you see Harold von der Staatsmacht, and then you'll see the Staatsmacht dogs back here in the mother's pedigree. So you can see there are certain dogs that appear multiple times. Now, I have another litter that I'm really looking forward to. They're already on the ground, and I've already decided to keep a male and a female from this litter as well. And you guys may or may not know what that litter is. But let's see. So we got Yarrow. Okay. I don't know why this window's being slow. Give me a second, guys. You see this female right here? She looks a lot like Bang, by the way. This female is why she's a world champion. This female is why I did this last breeding. Because I wanted to recreate her, or come as close as you possibly could. Oops. So this breeding now, this is an interesting breeding. So I bred a half brother to a half sister. This is a inbreeding. Okay? They're both health tested, needless to say. They have very different father lines. Bang's daddy is Esch von Schwarzenhomen, right? And it's kind of like some really older lines for the most part. You got Eric von Pentavita there and stuff. But like, you know, these aren't so popular, these lines, let's say. But the father was a mofo, from what I've heard. Now you've got Nitra. She goes back on Hercules. And Debbie. That's the D litter, right? Now you go to Yarrow. His father, Zoltan von Perrault. Okay? Really, really nice, strong father line. Then you go to the mother line. Oof. Right? Same mother line. So this breeding is going to be 2-2 on Nitra. Right? This is the closest you're going to come to ever reproducing Nitra. So, this breeding will be very, very interesting. This breeding will be very, very interesting. I've held back, and the puppies are all strong and thriving. I have one female in this litter available now. That's all I have left. I have one male and one female that I'll be keeping produce. All right, let's see here. How can you tell when a dog is barking with intent versus just bluffing? It's something you know when you've seen so many working dogs. You know, it's not something I can really explain. Khalil says, you said you chose the puppies that were bicolor. Yes, there were 2 in the litter that was bicolor. Hammer and his sister. That means you do not have the pick of the litter? Well, listen, I've spoken about this 1,000 times. You can pick all you like. You're probably still going to end up selling the best puppy. And what I found is oftentimes the best puppy is the one that you thought was kind of average or nothing special. So I don't even try to pick anymore. I just avoid like red flags. Like if there's a puppy that's like showing me some red flags right off the hop, I'll avoid it. Other than that, I don't care if a puppy is looking a lot better than another, as long as they all kind of have somewhat of what I'm looking for. So that's basically how I pick. Is there specific lines or lines that can handle more full power type training? Yes, as a matter of fact, there are. So this litter that I already kept and I explained, Hammer, those lines respond very well to full power training, aka pressure that is given with the intent to activate. They're very good generally with activating pressure. and they respond very well to mechanical reinforcement. You know, they're very, very good dogs with that type of training. This litter right here, you wonder why this family line has been so popular and done so well. Of course, Nico is a huge part of that. Nico is the breeder of Eisenkreuz. I can never say it properly. Eisenkreuz. And he obviously is very good at training these dogs. He trained Quartus, as a matter of fact, right? And, you know, he's had a lot of success. But these dogs, this line, from my experience, respond very, very well to mechanical training. They respond very, very well to pressure. In fact, you'll see them as green dogs, and you won't think very much of them. But the more training you put on them, and the more pressure you put on them, it's like pouring water on a flower, water and sunlight on a flower. They blossom, right, in many cases, into these fantastic, fantastic dogs. If you think you're going to train these dogs more like, you know, like, oh, happy, motivation, and just a little bit of pressure, they will laugh in your face. Not that they will, like, hurt you or anything, because generally speaking, they're actually quite social dogs, but they'll just happily take liberties with you and ignore you and, you know, screw off and do whatever it is they want to do. But when you put pressure on them in a consistent, progressive overload style way, like I do in my full power type of training, they open and open and open. And eventually you're like, okay, they're too open. We need to close it a little bit. That's what I really like about this line. So I'm anticipating, you know, hopefully these puppies are going to bring the same qualities forward. Spasic says, what is your opinion of Imsdrift Lit compared to Nitra? They're nowhere even close. They're nowhere even close. Fantastically trained dog. Lit is a very well-trained dog. And obviously, you know, she tracked her ass off in that trial, and the tracking really, you know, brought it home for her, and she didn't make any mistakes in the obedience, the protection. But she's a normal dog in the sense of, like, the drive, the grip, all of these things. Like, there's nothing particularly exciting about it. There's, you know, in my opinion, like, there's better females. Like, for instance, Taz has way more, like, drive and hardness than she does, but she has fantastic training and a fantastic tracking. Nitra, when you watch Nitra do protection and you watch Lit do protection, do me a favor, watch those two dogs do protection and get back to me. There's no comparison between the two, right? So, yeah, if we're speaking about the quality of dog, it's just, they're not in the same category. Yeah, Lit is more of a obedience dog. Very nice obedience dog. And again, fantastic training. Like, you must give credit where it's due. All right, what else we got here? No sound? There's no sound? Hold on. Let me check. It says here I have sound, guys. Let me know if sound is still an issue. Just drop it in the chat if sound is an issue. Because I'll have to stop. I don't know why the sound would have gone. There is sound. Okay, I don't know. People were saying there's no sound. Anyways. All right, good. Okay, so this is where my puppy comes from. We can talk about other things if you guys want to talk about other things. Sound is off and on for the last 5 minutes. Huh. I don't know. Like, it says I have a fantastic connection, so I don't know. Maybe it's you. All right. We got Onyx, one of my old dogs in the house. Give my grandson... Oh, you mean Gage. Give Gage a hug. He doesn't like hugs. Someone says Nitra is years of perfect training and breeding, where lit is just luck and some old-fashioned politics. I disagree. I was at the competition. Um, you know, the tracking that lit had to do in order to be at that level was no joke. Um, her obedience, everybody was mad about her score, but according to people that were actually on the ground in the stadium and close up, like you can't necessarily see it in the video, she was vocalizing the entire time, like on a lower level in the obedience, and that's why she got the 94. But still, it was a very nice picture. And protection, again, like there was no mistake there, really. And I think she deserved to win. I don't see anybody particularly upset that she won. Devin says, hey, has any level 1 Freedom Pups coming available in the next while? Well, not really, because at the end of the day, I mean, like, I don't have any plans to have any. People buy the puppies and have us train them to level 1. So right now, I have like 6 level 1 puppies in the kennel being trained, but that's because people buy them at 8 weeks and then have us keep them for training. So if you want one, don't wait for one to appear. Your better bet is to say, hey, listen, this is what I want. Put me on the list for the next, this and this from the next litter, and we'll put you on the list. Now I have puppies. I have 2 black male puppies that are currently available from, or it might be just one now, from the Babe and Yarrow litter. So this male here, right, Yarrow, and Babe, which is another dog. Yeah. Let's pull her up. Oh, what are the hardships I had with Gage? I'll answer that in a second. So this is Babe's pedigree. Now, it's a very different pedigree than the others. I'll tell you what I like about her. She's a driving female, but she's nice and she's, what is this? Yeah. She's nice and sensitive in the sense that she's handler sensitive. Has a lot of pack drive. Now, if you see Babe, her daddy is Irk. And you guys, if you know anything about German Shepherds, you know what Irk has done. Irk was a dog that people slept on because he didn't have a sexy pedigree, but he did win the world championship. And he bred a little bit in Germany, but they were willing to sell him because, again, people weren't flocking to breed to him because he just didn't have a sexy pedigree. Until the puppies started growing up. And people started seeing these dogs on competition fields and being like, oh my God, like anything this dog breeds with seems to be good or great, right? But by then, my friend Ann Lee had already bought him and he was in Canada. And again, the same story here. Like a lot of people said, oh, no sexy pedigree, not going to breed to him. A lot of blah, blah, blah. Again, then the word from Europe started to trickle in and we started to see all the puppies from him. And my Lord have mercy, by the time people realized what a treasure he was already old and there wasn't so many litters left him. But anyways, this is a daughter of Irk. And then on the bottom, we have the Yanaka line. And look, oh, Draco Blendy. We all know who that is. And then we have the Yanaka line. Bira Yanaka, which is a sister to Bole Yanaka, for those of you who don't know who that is. So these are some fantastic lines. Right? And then you mix it here with this, and you are going to have a line breeding on the D litter again, right? I think it'd be like 3-4 or 3-5, something like that. And fantastic pedigree. Dogs will have a little more pack drive, and they'll be a little bit easier to train for most people. So yeah, I have 2 black males available from this litter, or maybe 1. Don't quote me on it, maybe 1. And if you want a freedom trained dog, take him now, because he's the only one I have right now. I have a female also from the Bang litter still that hasn't been spoken for, but that's it right now. All right. Do you know Vom Wallerhorst? Yeah, I know a very good dog from Vom Wallerhorst that's in Canada. Haskell Vom Wallerhorst. Fantastic dog. Really, really strong dog. Unfortunately, he hasn't had much luck in competition here, but really, really strong dog. And a friend of mine used him for breeding, and he has bicolors that are a year old right now that he's training, and he seems to like them. Yeah, the D-litter is no joke. You see the D-litter in a lot of pedigrees of the top dogs. What do I think about Lennox? I mean, man, he's so far back. I don't know, like, I can't speak too much about it because I haven't seen so many from that line. Ava says, can I use your male from the 2-2 Nitra litter after I title my dam? Yeah, listen, that's like far away, you know? He's still suckling on his mother's teat. You know, there's a long time, a lot of things that need to happen between that, between now and then to say that he's a dog for breeding, you know? All right. What were my issues with Gage? Well, you know, Gage carries some nerve, so he can be a little reactive in certain instances. So when I go to new places, sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge for him to perform at his best. Gage is also a dog, like, he has really good he has good drive, but because, you know, I would say, like, he's not a very talented dog. He has a big heart, but he's not talented. He's not athletic, maybe, but like German Shepherd athletic, if you know what I mean. And by that I mean like extreme fast, big grips, all of that. Like, he bites really hard because he has a big heart. You know, but he's not like super fast on the entries. He doesn't turn naturally very quickly and stuff. So like my dumbbell retrieves, he always has a bit of a wider turn there. With Gage, the game with him, if I want him to be at his best, he has to be feeling at his best. If he's feeling like King Kong, he'll go out there and he'll smoke it, just like he did at the 2024 FCI World Championship in protection. And that's him giving his all there, right? But you saw, even with him giving his all, if he gives all he's got and Chico gives all he's got, Chico's beating him every single time. But Gage has a big heart, and he has my training foundation, so he's generally more reliable. But Chico, if he gives his all to something, Gage can't beat him, right? That's the best way to kind of explain it, because Chico has natural talent. He has grips. He has speed. He has, he has the substance of what the ideal working line German Shepherd should look like. And, you know, Gage kind of succeeds in spite. And Chico either reaches the level that he should be at or he underperforms himself. So for Gage to be successful, he has to kind of overperform himself. And for Chico to be successful, he just needs to be what he is. But unfortunately, because of the training foundation, he has a good chance of also underperforming himself. I don't know anything about Whirl, so I can't speak to that. How much did Ann Lee buy Irk? I think he spent some pretty good money on the dog, to be honest with you. But he didn't spend, like, you know, what the Chinese are paying for, like, top-tier dogs right now. Because that's, you know, he wasn't a famous dog. Is there still a link to the webinar? The webinar is available at shieldcanineonline.com. You just go under courses, scroll down, you'll see the full power e-collar training webinar, and it's there. By the way, I should mention, guys, I'm having a workshop here at Shield HQ, November 22nd, 23rd. So if you want to come and train full power style, obedience protection with yours truly, Register by sending an email to shieldcaninedogs@gmail.com, or just hit us up on the main website, and we can give you information relating to that. Again, this is going to be focusing on competition obedience, full power style, protection control, that kind of stuff. Do I offer one-on-one online training? Yes, I do. That would be a online consult. And again, you can hit me up at, you can hit my team up, info@shieldcanine.ca. Just again, go to the website, fill out a form, and they'll set you up for online consults. Brittany Sardi says, working my way through your sport dog bundle, position box versus position platform, pros and cons. The pro of the box is it keeps the dog inside the box, and it really like kind of fixes the position of the dog in there. The con is they become too reliant on the walls of the box, and they even like start rolling over on their hips and stuff because the box kind of holds them up. The pro of the platform is because they might fall off the platform, they're always working hard to stay on it, and it can really help them to make that really fast transition from position to position. The con of the platform is, again, they can get a little like, if you're not careful with your luring, the dog can potentially start picking up some habits like shifting to the side in position, stuff like this. Someone says, love the Doberman video. No, not the 2022 seminar. The 2022 e-collar seminar is old, and it's better for people that are looking for just like a complete general knowledge on how to use the e-collar in training. The 2025 is completely geared towards how I train full power style. I can't speak to House Pixner. I don't have any dogs from them. I don't know. Again, you have to be careful, guys. People will say all sorts of things on the internet. Very few people actually have real experience with these dogs, meaningful experience with these dogs, right? So I don't speak too much about dogs that I don't have direct experience with. Have I managed to get Chico and Gage to get along? Are you nuts? They're never going to get along. Well, Gage will tolerate Chico. Like, Gage is not one to start anything, and he's very much under control. But Chico is not a dog I will trust around other males for sure. Ariana says, is the webinar included with the Elite Golf membership? I don't have any Elite Golf memberships. I'm not much for golf. No, not right now it's not, because it's a webinar, it's not a course. We might change that in the new year, though. So, I guess hang out and see. Quietly Content Bear says, hey, I really like seeing your horses in the videos. Well, stay tuned. We'll have some good content with the horses soon. Somebody says they really like the Doberman video. Yeah, there's a new video on Dobermans up on my YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out. Also, when we speak about, someone was asking if the Dobermans, do they have the same kind of striking and gripping? There's no comparison between a Doberman and a strong working line German Shepherd. I'm sorry. Sorry, there just isn't, guys. There isn't, okay? So, like, we're not even going to discuss it, because they're just on two different levels. And, that's the only way I kind of know how to say it to you. Doesn't mean they're not good for what they do, but they're not... What I said in the video is very accurate. So Spasic says, I just want to say you guys are the best here in Southern Ontario. I had a shit trainer before you going to Shield with my working line GSE. It felt like learning how to work a dog from scratch. Fantastic, man. I'm glad we could help you. Do I like chameleon or Dogtra? I always answer this question. I don't like chameleon. I like Dogtra. I don't like sport dog. Do I intend to do a series for specific breeds? Not really. I mean, I'll probably do more of these just based on my if there's dogs that I have a ton of experience with, like the Doberman, then I'll do enough. Like, you know, people are asking for Rotties. I can do one on Rotties. I find Rotties very similar to bull breeds, by the way. And I have actually quite a bit of experience with Rotties, so I'll do one probably on them at some point. We've got Germany in the house. Welcome, welcome. When an off-leash dog rushes Chico, how much time do you have before he throws down? Yeah, if an off-leash dog ever got to him and I didn't have my hands on him, like as in he wasn't on a leash, it's getting messed up. It's just not something that I would recommend. Pixely Boy says, what are some things to do with your 2-year-old dog to see if he's fit for protection work? Go to someone that knows what they're doing and have them evaluate him. That's what I would recommend. How would I handle a 1-year-old German Shepherd puppy who damaged baseboards for a second time in his life? Yeah, I would contain him. Stop leaving him loose in your house to damage things. Contain him. He's on place. He's in the crate. The house is not a place for the dog to be loose, especially if he can't be trusted. All right. Does anyone else have anything for me? Let's see. We have Ike's long attack. This wasn't his best long attack. It was still pretty good. You guys could see like how he kind of ran through the helper there. Really nice grip too. If these puppies are like him, I'll be a happy, happy man. Someone's trying to start problems. What's your feeling about American Shih Tzu right now? I've said all I need to say about American Shih Tzu. Like I said, I think it's kind of lame. It's not for me, man. That's all I can say. I don't know how they made it lame, but they made it lame. If you have the same money as the Chinese, you could buy any male from Germany. What male would you buy? I wouldn't. Don't need to. We got plenty of strong dogs here. This idea, like, we've been importing dogs for so many years now. The lines are here. The lines are in the United States. The lines are like, we don't need to go there for stuff anymore. Like, it's here. It's not to say that you never should buy a dog from Germany. Of course not. There's fantastic dogs there. But that being said, yeah, like, we don't need to. We don't need to. We have fantastic dogs here. Yeah, there's really nothing from there that I need. My puppy is a... Mangat says, my puppy is a Knox son. He's 10 months old but doesn't have ball drive. Is that normal? I had a Knox, if you're talking about Knox Long Tall House, I had a Knox son. He was not particularly intense enough for me. He had good ball drive. It wasn't great, you know. He was kind of a goofy dog. Nice dog, but like I ended up selling him. He just didn't have enough in the tank for me. So yeah. How old is Gage? Gage is, I think he's coming 6 years old now. Raul Garcia says, as you said, bite sport is dominated by the German Shepherd and Mal. Do you think the Dutchie will become a dominant one as well? No, I don't. They have too many handler issues for them to ever be successful at the high levels. You want me to poke the American Shih Tzu bear? It's not much of a bear. It's more of a pussycat. What are they going to do? Chide me to death on Facebook? Oh, man. These people don't know how to promote anything. They don't know how to promote anything. They don't know how to grow anything. They don't know what makes the sport, what makes sport great, what makes sport cool. Thoughts on Mondio Ring? It's not for me. But go for it. Like I said, I don't know anything about Poppet's lines. Sorry. Do I think Echidius check lines are good for sport? Bro, this is not hard. Look who won. Go look. Like we just I did this exercise of me showing you why like the reason why I took this puppy, so on and so forth. Look, in the last 2 years, find your favorite dogs at the WUSB and look at their pedigrees. I guarantee you're going to find commonalities. And go and find those. Stop talking about check lines or whatever. This is silliness. If you're serious about a top performing dog, go look at the top performers, look in their pedigree, find the commonalities, and get dogs from there. It's that simple. I showed you 2 dogs. And it's funny, I didn't even look too hard at their pedigrees. Like, I decided to breed Taz and Ike together before I even looked at their pedigree. And then when I looked at the pedigree and I was like, oh, there's some commonalities in here. Oh, lo and behold, there's the D-litter. Oh, there's Draco Blendy. Like, you know, like this is how it works. Forget check, Echidius, all this like online nonsense. Actually go and look who's performing, find the pedigree, and follow the pedigree to the dog that you want. Have I heard about Larrickmore Kennels? I mean, I've heard of them. I don't know anything about them. Quietly Content Bear says, what is the most bang for your buck in terms of home protection? A dog that barks on demand and a pew-pew. Well, no. If you want home protection, the dog should be barking on its own, not on demand. Obviously, a gun is always nice. The problem with the gun is how quickly can you get to the gun in the moment that they kick your door down, right? How much time do you have? You know, of course, if you've taken precautions, you've reinforced your doors and windows, and it's going to take them a little bit to break through. That's good. Unless they, you know, kind of do the whole Trojan horse thing where they pretend to be a delivery guy or something. You open the door and they rush you. But all that being said, a dog that's kind of going to act on his own in that situation is going to be your best bet because he's going to give you enough time to get to the gun. Hopefully. If they're really good, you're probably going to be dead either way because they're going to kick down your door in about half a second. They'll have a gun ready. They'll blow your dog away as they come through the door. And you're not really going to have time unless you're real fast. So, you know, and that's the reality. The good news is most of the people that do this, let's say they're not that good. And they're not that prepared for resistance. And if they even think there's going to be resistance, they pick the next house. Which is why dogs are fantastic because they prevent that the deterrent and the resistance. And they say, well, we might have to shoot the dog might bite us, blah, blah, blah. Let's just avoid this problem and pick the next house. Have I seen really good dogs coming from lines without big names? We just talked about one. Urk de la Hutte du Berger, right? He doesn't have fancy lines, and yet he is a dog that is going to go down as one of the biggest producers of the last 10 years. If I had a chance to breed Nitra, what male would you choose? I would probably choose a very active, intense male. I like the dogs that are jumping out of their skin. Would I buy another Nitra puppy? No, I don't need to. I have access to 2 of them right here, and I've just basically come the closest you can to recreating her in a breeding. So, I mean, I don't really need to. Spasic said, so true. My dog was sold to me as an IGP prospect before I knew much. These dogs haven't been on the local IGP field in 30 years. Exactly. Exactly. Right? There's so many of people, oh yeah, he'd be good for IGP. It's like, bro, how do you know? You haven't done IGP, or the last time you did IGP was 30 years ago and you barely scraped through a title. You don't know. Lori Matthews says, hit the like button while you're here. Well, thank you, Lori. I agree. Hit the like button, folks. Have I worked any Bordy Blendy offspring? Even better, I've owned one. And what are your thoughts on what he has produced? He was a terrible producer. He was a fantastic dog, a terrible producer. Most of his puppies were shit, unfortunately. He's just one of those dogs that, you know, big, powerful, impressive dog, but was he just didn't have qualities that passed to the next generation for the most part. I mean, there are, of course, some good ones, but for how many breedings he had, not near enough. Eric Wilfong says, while you're loose leash training, how often do you let a puppy stop to pee? After 3 or 4, I figure he's just marking, so I don't allow it afterwards. Is that okay? I mean, it depends. When I'm loose leash walking, my dog isn't in a heel. I let him smell and I let him pee, as long as he's not like pulling me or impeding my walk. It's not a big deal for me. Do I still have the female O-Snap? No, she did not pass her orthos, and so she was sold. Thoughts on American Kennel Craft Work? I don't really know. I seen some dogs from there a long time ago. Very big dogs. I mean, they seem decent. You know, if you're serious about a working dog, I mean, his game plan is pretty much buy large, beautiful dogs from Germany, very big and beautiful dogs from Germany, and breed them. And, you know, like, he's not really selecting for working quality or anything like that, but, you know, he's catering to the pet market. And, I mean, it's going well for him, I'm sure. In fact, I know it's going well for him. Raul Garcia says, has for a less active lifestyle, but what breed would you recommend to do protection work? Still a German Shepherd or a Corso or a Rottie? If you want to do protection work, German Shepherd. Is operant conditioning a good foundation for dog training? Yeah, I mean, it's a learning theory. If you truly understand it, it definitely won't hurt. But if everything you see is through that lens, you will be limited. Do I like Bolyanaka? I never knew Bolyanaka. I've heard mixed things about him. I mean, his family obviously has had success. You know, there's certainly nerve in that line. And nerve is something, if you know it's present, you understand a little bit of it is okay. Too much of it will impede the dog's performance. So, you know, just be wary of that. Someone said, what was your favorite dog from WSV? Saw Bond training with JDR. Thought he had an amazing obedient with just one unlucky mistake. Yeah, obedience probably would have been his best phase if he hadn't hit the jump. Bond is with JDR right now because they want to use him for breeding. Apparently they don't have a lot of breeding dogs in Spain. And so he's there for breeding, actually. So, yeah. What are my thoughts on training using different systems? Well, if you've mastered one system and you're ready to, spread your wings and learn about more, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, everybody kind of gravitates to what they feel good with. Not every system is suited to every person. Like I train, the way that I train is suited to the way that I am as an individual, right? Like there's different training systems out there, and they all can work for different dogs and different handlers. The key is, do you have the right dog, and are you the right handler to make that system work? You know, of course, I think the best systems they work more across the board, and they don't need a very specific type of dog and handler. And I like to think that my system is like that because, you know, I've been able to help a lot of people obviously improve their performances. But that being said, you know, you have to train with what feels good for you. At the end of the day, we train for fun, right? Motor City Canine says, too much nerve, overhyped stud. I believe he's talking about Bolyanaka. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said he was a nervy dog. How do you increase your dog's stamina before big competitions? A lot of training. If the competition feels hard for the dog, he was not prepared properly. Ask me how I know. What is my critique of Bart Ballon's training system that made you branch out and make your own system? Well, I didn't start with Bart Ballon's training system, so I can't say that I branched out as if that's where I started. And you know, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to critique his training system. Like, again, if it's for you, it's for you. I'm not here to go and critique other people. Like, I'm just telling you what I do and why I like what I do. Tetiora American German Shepherd Kennel. I don't know. I've never heard of them. Did I have luck with Gage and acupuncture? No, I had luck with Gage and not doing anything for months with him and letting him just sit in the house. And now I'm putting him back into work, and we'll see how his groin holds up. Do I intend to do more exercise with Gage to make him fit again? Well, I've actually started training him, a very light training schedule, very easy. And of course, reducing his food intake. So with those things combined in the next few months, I expect that he'll start looking normal again. What I need to do with Gage is, if I want to use him next year in competition, which I do, because I think he has another season or two in him, is I need to kind of do a very slow build, and he cannot be tired going into competition. He needs to be fresh and comfortable and feeling full of himself. I don't have mentors. Maybe that's a problem. I don't have mentors, so I can't speak to that. How did I end up in IGP? I don't know. I had a German Shepherd, and I looked up things to do with your German Shepherd, and it popped up. And the rest is history. There are definitely trainers that, you know, I've learned things from along the way. And I've spoken about them many times, like whether it was a seminar or a training or a video, stuff like that. But like, I never really had like one guy that like I learned under. Thoughts on Michael Ellis? Did he compete? I think Michael Ellis helped a lot of people understand the basic tenets of dog training, and he had an enormous impact on the industry because he also happened to partner with the Learberg guy, Ed Frawley, and Ed was smart enough to make videos before there really were videos about dog training and sell them. And Michael was the way that he did that. Did Michael ever compete in IGP? I don't know if he ever competed in IGP. I don't think he ever did IGP at a high level. I think he's like a ring guy. That was my understanding. Was he did something ring related, French ring or something? Munraj says, my puppy is Bully Yanakan Bordy Blendy. Can confirm. Very nervy and not really a worker. Yeah, that's actually a really terrible combination. I'm sorry to hear that. And yeah, you definitely need another one, my friend. Thoughts on RSV? British guy just won. Well, good for him. I don't know. Like, it's another thing. For me, all these competitions and all these people that are trying to kind of take over from IGP, the only competition that has had any level of success is the SATSIT competition. And the reason why the SATSIT has had success, right, is because who's behind SATSIT? It's Working Dog, right? Working Dog is run by Matthias Dogel. And Matthias Dogel was smart enough to... he's a fairly accomplished handler in his own right, but he was smart enough to try and get other accomplished handlers to sign up to the SATSIT. I don't know whether he paid them under the table or what. But what happens is when you get other accomplished handlers doing the thing, it's going to draw in other accomplished handlers because it turns out that we all want to be on the field with each other. I don't want to compete against Joe Schmo at whatever made-up name competition. I want to compete against the very best. Right? And that's the mindset. So Matthias Dogel was smart, and when he set up his SATSITs, he said, I need to get some of the top handlers to sign up and start doing these. And one of the biggest one that he got was the Newt Fuchs, right? And he got Newt Fuchs over there, and he's got some other Mali guys over there. And I see that he's slowly growing it. I don't know. There's still some problems with SATSIT, I think, that need to be resolved. But of all of them, it's the most promising. The problem with the RSV and stuff like that, whenever American Shits and all of these things, it's like, you know, it kind of becomes a refuge for people that just aren't good enough and want to make excuses for why they're not at the WUSV. They're not at the FCI World Championship. That's the impression that I got. I could be wrong. I'm sure there are handlers at those things that are there for, you know, because they truly believe in what that organization is doing. But that's the impression that I got with a lot of it. And if that's an impression, that's a problem. You need to make, if you want people to do your thing, you need to attract the top people, whether it's with money, incentives, whatever it is. You got to get them over there doing your thing. And that's the only way you're going to be able to eclipse the WSV and the FCI World Championship. Was I always confident in trials? No. I was not always confident in trials. Motor City Canine says they don't want to track. Steve, you ain't never lied, my friend. American Shitson, oh, we can't track. I guarantee you, most of the people who do American Shitson live in the countryside, and they want to tell cool stories about how they can't track. Lazy. You don't want to track. You don't want to compete against the best. That's your problem. Have I considered a canine body conditioning program for Gage? No. I don't have the time or inclination to sit around watching him balance himself on yoga balls. It's not for me. And if that means that he's going to continue to be injured, fine. He can be a house dog. Your puppy is active and likes to play. However, it's struggled to keep her focused. Yeah, you need to follow a proper training program that's geared towards the outcomes that you want. So, for instance, if you want a really well-trained, obedient companion dog, take my Elite Off-Leash Elite Off-Leash Obedience course, shieldcanineonline.com, or if it's a puppy, take the Puppy Foundations course. And that's a step-by-step training system with videos and instructional content on how to build your dog into that obedient dog that you want. Will Hammer come and live in the house with me? I was gonna say yes, but now I'm on the wall with it because I'm thinking I might switch to the sister. I'm not 100% that I'm going to stick with Hammer. I might switch to the female. And it'll be easier because, I mean, for sure Gage will get along with a female. With Hammer, I mean, he'll tolerate him, but I don't think they'll ever be best buddies. The last thing I want to do is bring a dog into my house and then decide it's not for me. And at this point in my career, I'm not keeping any dog that is anything less than, I think, world championship winning material. CL says if they continue to merge with RSV, they will end up offering tracking so they can compete at world levels. If it actually works after the nonsense going on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, they have an affiliation with PSA, and you know, I've spoken enough about PSA and the issues that they have, and I believe that the American Schutzhund issues and the perception I have of American Schutzhund is in part colored by their association with PSA. Ironically, PSA is the only other dog sport I would ever consider to do, but not at this time for all the issues that I already mentioned. Is there a difference if the dog loves with you in the house or away at the kennel? No, not really. Not really. I mean, at the kennel, obviously, they're more limited. So, you know, they're real happy to see you. And they're a little more amped in the training, maybe you could say. But honestly, I won't even say that. You know, my house dogs are real amped in the training too. So, you know, I do believe, obviously, when you live with a dog, you do kind of form a closer relationship with the dog. But do I want multiple dogs in my house right now? I already have Gage. Believe it or not, I'm not someone that wants to live with 5 different dogs. There's a lot of dog hair. You know, I got small kids. It's too much, right? So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. If anybody else has anything for me, speak now or forever hold your peace. And let me pop this up. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Again, I am having a full power training seminar November 22nd, 23rd. And if you want to train with me online, shieldcanineonline.com. All that's in the description.